And this is what actors use to directly hack how to produce, let's say, an Italian accent. Can I ask you what languages you speak fluently?
Yeah. Dutch is my main language, and I speak English. Well, like I think sufficiently right now. I don't know the exact level, but it's I'm quite comfortable in it right now. And that's about it. I speak a little bit of German, but a very teeny tiny bit.
I don't know what Dutch's mouth placement is, but every language has a resting mouth position. In French, for example, they tend to bring everything forward. So a lot of the times there's the pursed lips mouth positioning that happens. So it goes here. And so that's where they tend to rest. In American English, mouth positioning, it tends to sit in the middle of the tongue. And I know that might not make sense, but is there any way you can speak Dutch for a second for me?
Nee, tuurlijk. Om het te laten zien, zal ik even laten zien hoe mijn mond ook wat meer beweegt. Voelt wel heel erg gek om tegen jou te praten, terwijl je geen idee hebt wat ik tegen jou aan het zeggen ben, maar dat ik het leuk vind.
If you were to feel in your mouth, where does your tongue normally go? Because I hear it going back, but then it also goes very forward.
Ooh, well, where my tongue really goes, I think kind of like if this is the upper side of my mouth, then I think kind of not really backwards, but also I think in the middle somewhere.
Okay.
Or well, just behind my upper teeth.
Right.
It's yeah.
Right, I hear that. Okay, that's very interesting.
Do certain languages come with certain tongue positions? Or,
it does.
Okay.
It does. So because of that, that's why you typically get accents, because it's hard to access certain placements because you're not used to it. Your tongue is not used to it and going certain ways. And even filler words, for example, it's the reason why in English you tend to say or as a filler word, because that's the middle of the tongue. What we would do is a quick hack in American English, and I'm a foreigner too. My original language is Japanese, so this is something I had to do and learn, is that we would speak what we call gibberish. And it's just you're not actually saying anything. However, you do that first, and then you go into taking on the mouth posture of that specific language. So for American English, for example, which is different from British English and Australian English, is that because it sits in the middle, you want to go out, your tongue wants to go everywhere, but it has to always come back to the middle.
Yeah, so it's kind of like shaking your body, but with speech.
But with your mouth, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, stop. You tend to go forward a lot, which is very interesting. Okay, yeah. Can you do it again and try to go back and try to obstruct your mouth a little bit? Go ahead.
Okay, is that tongue position or
tongue position?
Is it like everything focused in the back of your mouth?
Everything here. So even this. You could even do non-vocals.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, pause. How did that feel?
Well, different, but it feels like I'm sticking my tongue in the back of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're probably not used to that. There's some languages that sits in the back.
Yeah,
right?
Okay.
Yeah, but with Dutch, because I can see it goes forward, and that's why even in English you tend to position your mouth forward. Yeah. And so putting it back might be even more foreign to you because it's just not a position that is needed.
Yeah, sure. It also sounded like my voice was becoming lower when I was trying to speak more from the back of my mouth.
Because you're obstructing the sound waves right there when you're doing that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so if you're willing to try
absolutely
to do the gibberish again, which you're really good at. sit it in the middle of your tongue. And what I mean by that is it doesn't mean you can't go in other places, but just always concentrate mentally back to right here, the middle of the tongue.
Yeah. Ah, okay. So it's not like sticking your tongue in the middle upper side of your mouth, but just focusing on the middle part of your tongue.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay, all right, I get it.
Okay, stop. You sound more American. You sound more American gibberish, which
That's
sounds
so funny.
It sounds crazy, but that's what it sounds like. Okay, great.
Yeah, okay.
So
It felt like my tongue was trying to slip back to the front part of the tongue.
right, because that's
time.
what you're
Yeah.
used to.
Yeah,
It makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah, so when you're about to speak English, and this is specifically American English again, but when you're about to speak it, a lot of the times I have my clients who are originally native in another language, I have them speak gibberish in American tongue positioning or mouth positioning before they're about to speak English in a presentation or on stage, etc., etc. And it really helps train their memory to go, oh, this is exactly where we're gonna sit.
Is it like also? Is there a way to train it to let it become more of your neutral position, or not per se your neutral position, but a position you can easily go back to?
It's just a matter of practicing that. Yeah, there's no shortcut to that necessarily. If you do, so sometimes people do those gibberish exercises every morning and then have that, and then do it right before, let's say, doing a tongue twister. My YouTube videos, there's a lot of tongue twisters on there that people literally go there every morning to do that. So if you do the gibberish right before the tongue twister training, that's going to help a lot. Do you have any questions on that specifically?
Like, how would you describe how to use your tongue in that way? Because for me, it feels now that I'm only trying to aim my attention more at the middle part of my tongue, but is it also more trying to force it in a way, or?
The technical way to do this is to practice and physically look at your tongue. And a lot of times people get, let's say, a chopstick or something and feel it out and actually feel out exactly what your tongue positioning is when you say certain letters. You can go through every letter and how it should sound in that language. Every language has that mapped out and charted out, so to speak. So you can go through that, and that's a very technical way to go through that. So if you have major deficiency in that way, you would probably go through that. However, most people, it's overkill, and it's the easiest way to hack. And this is what actors use, and this is the reason why I know this, is that actors use this way to directly hack how to produce, let's say, an Italian accent, is that they train themselves to learn that tongue or mouth positioning of that language. Of course, there's going to be nuances. So for example, the letter R, there's specifically an American R sound that we make that other English, even British English, doesn't make the R sound. They don't have that same exact positioning, which is to pull back the tongue versus curling it up. So versus and so it's pulling it back. But that's something that, okay, you would need to know specifically that technique for American English, for example. So there are certain tongue positionings. But if you could just learn the position itself and practice that in gibberish and then being able to speak it, granted that you already know how to speak English, then you're already going to be 80% of the way there. And I'm all about hacks to get you 80% of the way, because why waste time, years and years of going through speech pathology to get every single meticulous position when you can get 80% of the way there? And then you can, icing on the cake when you could just get it precise.